Psalm 118:24, King James Version. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. New International Version. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! Wake up! Wake up, everybody! Wake up!
Message deleted.
Hello, Uncle Henry. Good morning. I was just sitting here listening and wishing that it was time for the Uncle Henry show to come on. I'm jonesing for some Uncle Henry show. Thank you.
Thank you. It is an honor that someone would jones for the Uncle Henry show, and I'm very proud to provide the show for you so that you can stop jonesing, at least temporarily. Uncle Henry show underway here on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM The Jag. If you want to look at the show, we are providing video both on the Uncle Henry YouTube channel and also on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. Today I'm wearing purple, and I'm not because I like Prince, just because I enjoy making some type of a statement. I don't know what the statement is yet. When I figure it out, I'll tell you. Also, you can look at Angelo. Angelo's here, co-hosting today from Mobile Bay Coins, fresh from traveling to Orlando, Florida. He will have tales of travel, tales of his times in Orlando. He also, for a lot of the video, if you're going to watch us on video now or later after the fact, he's going to be showing knives. He's also brought in some pictures that a German sent him in the mail. And also, I've got some pictures I sent Ariel from Mobile Bay Coins, so we'll look at all these things as we go forward. Angelo, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Do you enjoy traveling? Do you enjoy going to Orlando, Florida?
I do. Had a great time this time around.
But you don't go to the theme parks?
No, sir. No, sir. Stay away from Disney, all the theme-related stuff, especially this time of year. A lot of families, a lot of kids there, a lot of crowds. That's not my thing.
A lot of listeners probably have no idea what Orlando is about.
Right.
Other than theme parks. They don't know what the hidden Orlando is.
Well, because of the theme parks, you've got a lot of hotels available. And so it's a great area for conventions. The Rosin Center is where the coin show was. There's actually two sections to the Rosin Center, the west area, which is where we were, and then also a north-south one. So there were 3-4 conventions going all at the same time in that same building, and plenty of room. Several hotels are attached directly to the convention center. Restaurants are right there, beautiful swimming pool. I didn't have to go anywhere.
How about that? He didn't have to go anywhere. He didn't have to go to a theme park, even though he was there in theme park land. All right, look, we're going to get into news items, edged weapons, all of this as we continue on the Uncle Henry Show. First, some traffic and weather together on the nines.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Porsche Traffic Center.
We're keeping an eye on the weather radar this morning, and there is quite a bit of thunderstorm activity. The heaviest cell right now is moving across or up from the Gulf, seems to be moving into Mobile Bay now. So no matter which side of the bay you're on, you're going to feel at least a little rain as we go along here this morning. No big accidents or breakdowns on the board, though. Quiet start all around the area. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Good Tuesday to you, everybody. We've got about a 50-50 shot of scattered showers and storms for this Tuesday. We'll top out at 90 degrees. Grab the umbrella. We are going to have quite a bit of humidity out there. It's going to make that temperature feel warmer. Overnight lows in the mid-70s and a 40% chance of storms as we head into Wednesday through Friday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
The music.
Music. Take the vocals of Paul Rogers. Add the guitar of Jimi Hendrix. Stir in the drums of Joey Kramer. Serving up steaming hot classic rock. 96.1 The Rocket.
Never miss a riff. TK 101, The Rock Station. Your home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Angelo's here from MobileBayCoins.com. Ariel, the video producer, also here. In fact, Ariel, join us. I haven't had a chance to ask Ariel about her physical condition. Last night, she was back on the pole at the pole fitness class, and it had been, was it over a week since you'd been on the pole?
Yeah, it was about a week.
So how are you today? Are you okay? What,
My shoulders are very sore today.
your shoulders are very sore
Like
today.
it's hard to kind of like lift my hands above my head. They hurt pretty badly.
Tell us about last night. Did you what did you work on last night when you were on the pole?
Last night I worked on conditioning because some of my moves are still very sloppy, and I think it's because of, I kind of like just started going right into moves instead of starting with conditioning, like being able to pull your body weight up on the pole.
Now
Sounds so funny.
you are, well, that's what the pole's for, is
Yeah.
to hold your body weight as you position yourself wildly around it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're not yet 30.
Not yet, no.
What are the ages of the other women on the pole?
Most of them are in their either early 20s or late 20s. They're around the same age as I am.
Okay, so this is not something that cougarish ladies,
Cougarish?
older women are not doing this. This
I'm
is
sure they are somewhere, but not at the studio that I'm at. Maybe they come on Saturday mornings, because I go during
Saturday
the work
morning.
week. Yeah, Saturday morning they hold a class at 11 a.m. So maybe
That's the Cougar class? Is that what you're saying?
that might be the Cougar class.
Okay, well, it kind of makes sense. It kind of
Right.
makes sense.
You know, they're off work. They have the entire weekend to recover from, because it's strenuous. It's strenuous.
It does sound very strenuous.
Yeah, it takes
It
a
does.
lot of upper body and core strength. So if you don't have it, which a lot of, I'm trying to move into more of the upside down moves. So in order for me to do that, I got to build my core, and I hadn't done that or done any of the other conditioning. So I'm working on that now.
Well, I'm sure it's easier in your 20s than it is in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume yes.
All right. Well, Ariel, I'm glad. I hope you feel better and
Thank you.
work through the soreness as we go through the morning.
That'll be all right.
Thank you, Ariel. Ariel on the pole for fitness purposes last night in her pole fitness class. I don't know. I can only imagine from the only thing I can compare it to from our world, Angelo, would be doing pull-ups,
Yes, sir.
which can be very difficult for men of larger carriage.
Exactly. I know when I was younger and much, much thinner, I actually enjoy doing pull-ups and push-ups, things like that. I can't imagine trying to do it nowadays. Gained way too much weight, my friend.
Well, you don't need. Do you really need to do those
No,
things now?
no.
I mean, you
Not at all.
have all these edged weapons and other weapons. I mean, there's no really. All you've got to make sure you can do is aim and pull the trigger.
Exactly. That does not take a lot of force right there.
That's all you have to really know. All right. Well, look, there's a lot more to get to here. We haven't gotten into all the news items. There are a lot of news items to get into as we move forward in the program. We're going to go to a break here for radio for traffic and weather. If you keep watching on Facebook, we're going to have show and tell. And then when we come back from the break for the radio listener, we'll get into some news items here on the Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Want to mention again that I'm going to be at Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street today from 9 until 10 for a live on location Ask the Expert broadcast.
The Glenn Beck Pro.
And here we are on Facebook. Hold on just a second and let me save the audio that we just did so that we can move forward here. Okay, so while we're in this break for the radio listener, Angelo, you brought some edged weapons.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to show us an edged weapon?
Here, we'll start off with that. That's a Gerber Command 2. That's a mild variant, and that is normally a serrated knife, and that one is a non-serrated blade. That's why I picked that one up and added that to my collection.
This is a beautiful. This seems very sturdy. Like
It is.
this is for business purposes.
It certainly is.
That you're not going to mess around with this. This is constructed. This is thick and strong.
It is. It is a very thick, sturdy knife. It's actually, even though it is double-edged, it's not completely double-edged, so it's legal in a lot of areas where a fully double-edged dagger is illegal. Places like Australia, South Africa. Those were actually used in the South African military years and years ago because of the fact that they're not a dagger. They were allowed to carry those. Both the Command 2, which is that size, and the Command 1, which is actually just a little bit smaller.
Now, what was this manufactured for?
Just a combat knife or
So it is for
personal
combat.
carry? Yes,
It
sir.
is for dealing with some type of conflict,
Yes,
be
sir.
it with a human being or a bear.
A bear, a boar. A lot of people buy those to go boar hunting. To me, I still like the idea of shooting the boar, not jumping out of a tree and stabbing it with a knife. That
Do
sounds.
people want to do that? Do people want to jump out of a tree and stab a boar?
I've sold a number of knives very similar to that one for exactly that reason to very insane people.
I mean, even Ted Nugent uses a bow.
Right, exactly.
I mean, if it's too extreme for Ted Nugent.
I'm sorry, we have opposable thumbs, we have brains, we have developed weapons. Use the weapons.
Really, this is. I don't need to prove. I don't need to prove anything.
Correct.
By jumping out of a tree on a boar.
Well, to me, that proves that that you've got something loose upstairs. That's
Well,
about all it proves to me. I'm sorry.
Who knows? Who knows? Okay. Well, this is something that is quite substantial.
It is very nice.
Quite
knife.
substantial.
Actually, a heavier blade than the normal Mark II.
Now, as I was looking at it,
yes, sir,
I noticed that there is a number stamped into it.
All of the Gerber knives are serialized.
Why?
Because a lot of people want to know when it was made, when it was manufactured. They made a limited number of a lot of these different knives, and for the Mark II, for example, they kept accurate records of most of the manufacturers. So you know how many 1967s were made, how many 1968s, and so on. They did not keep all the records with the Command 2s, unfortunately, but that's a very low serial number knife, so that was one of the earlier ones that was made.
All right, so this is you said that it's not completely double-edged.
Correct.
But kind of double-edged, and that is specifically to get around some laws in some countries?
Yes, sir. California originally was one of the states that had some very strict laws about daggers, double-edged knives. South Africa is another one, and Australia is another one that have very strict laws about that. So the Command 1 and Command 2 knives were created so people could carry them or use them in those countries and bypass those laws and those conditions.
Huh. All right. Well, this is this in your personal collection?
Yes, sir.
So you don't have it to jump on a boar?
Oh, heck no.
You have it because it's serialized and you enjoy collecting them?
Yes, sir. And like I said, that one's a slight variant, and usually the small, sharp end of the knife is serrated. Has saw teeth on it. This one did not, so I added that to my collection for exactly that reason.
You can if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you can go talk to Angelo at Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street, and I don't know if that's in your big. You have it. Angelo has a catalog of knives that's
It's
bigger.
like a phone book.
It's bigger than an old-fashioned phone book.
If people remember what a phone book is.
Right. Somebody put a phone book out, I think in the last couple of weeks, at my front door.
Oh, really?
And it was almost like a magazine. It was so small compared to what it used to be in the day. But you can help people find knives like that.
Certainly can. We sell knives there at the shop.
All right, we're going to be going back to radio here in just a second. Stand by, please.
Take it easy. Stay well hydrated. Check on those outdoor pets. Overnight lows will drop into the 70s, and Wednesday through Friday we'll have a 40% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Angelo's here from MobileBayCoins.com. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. And we do have news coming up here in about 10 minutes from Fox and from Local 15. Local 15 had a story about opioids, not the epidemic in the country, but specifically Alabama. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, Angelo. I was kind of surprised at what the Center for Disease Control came out with. They said that county by county, when you break down the data, Mobile and Baldwin counties have some of the highest rates in the entire country for opioid prescriptions. There are more opioid prescriptions than there are people in the state of Alabama.
What? Holy cow. That is amazing. I did not know that. Had no clue.
Well, this is probably not going to last because the public health is kind of wise to it, but for those that are not aware of what this problem leads to is that people get hooked. It's very, very easy to get hooked on them.
Is that like the codeine type stuff?
I guess so.
I'm assuming. I don't know. I rarely take aspirin. So.
Well, I'm blessed to have not needed
opioids,
and some of this stuff is a great. If you're in pain, it's a wonderful thing.
Well, sure. But it has a point and a purpose, not just
right.
Apparently, they're treating them like candy. It sounds
right.
like.
Well, what happens is people get hooked, and then they can't get the opioids or can't afford them, and end up going to things like heroin, which sounds like a really strange leap, but heroin is similar and cheaper.
Aha.
So it leads people to jump into heroin. And the stories about how people's lives are destroyed are truly horrible. But Mobile and Baldwin, some of the highest rates in the nation.
I wonder why that is. I mean, are we not paying close enough attention to monitoring it? Or there's got to be a doctor out there prescribing these things, right?
Well, we did have the big trial in Mobile of the pain clinic where the two doctors got in huge trouble for prescribing so many of these.
But that's a lot, more than the state of Alabama, more than people in the state. Is that what you said?
Well, in the entire state, there are more prescriptions for opioids than there are people. So that means that people are getting more than one prescription.
Right. Which again sounds, either those two guys at the pain center were writing a lot of scripts, or there's a lot of. It's a much, much bigger problem than just those guys.
Yeah. Let's see, one person told Local 15 they went from taking 4 to 5 pills a day to 70 a day. And that's because you build up a tolerance.
Right, I got it.
You build up a tolerance.
I can't see. Wow.
It's hard to imagine somebody it's hard to imagine somebody living through it.
Right, exactly.
Because it would kill you or me, but they've built up a tolerance.
Well, I'm thinking if you or I took 3 or 4 pills, we'd be comatose. We'd probably be at the hospital.
Well,
at that point.
absolutely.
Much less 75.
Absolutely. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. That will not last. I think the people in both law enforcement and the medical community have decided to try and figure out a way out of this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now, what that will mean when you actually need a painkiller, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I better not even attempt to get one, because then you'll get grilled. It'll be worse than trying to get the allergy medicine there at the pharmacy.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. It's going to be something similar to that. Let's see, what else is in the news? I saw that there's a new campaign commercial for Mo Brooks, who's running for Senate in Alabama. And it's about building the wall.
Right.
And in the ad, I'm going to try and get the audio of this later this morning.
Is it the King James
ad? Yes. So
I saw that.
You saw the ad?
I did. I saw that.
Well, the ad, he says he would read the King James Bible in a filibuster to force the Senate to take up the issue. Now, you have to, I'm sure this is very clear to everyone that this is an attempt to try and get some Roy Moore fans.
Exactly. Because you've got that whole conflict of church and state there, which has been such a big drama. I mean, for goodness sakes, you had a few weeks ago, the cross had to get taken down over there in Pensacola.
Right.
We've had, how
many...
Well,
I think that was put on hold.
Okay,
So
good.
I think the cross is still up there. But yes, the
All these things, though.
Roy Moore is leading
Right.
in the state according to the polls. And so I guess if you want to catch up with Roy Moore, you need to church yourself up.
There you go.
Roy Moore's already had a Ten Commandments monument and other things that he's worked on. So how could you, if you needed to church yourself up quickly, how could you do that? I get now threatening to read the King James Version of the Bible in the Senate would be one way.
That's one way. I mean, the other way, I guess, if you really wanted to get extreme, he could have some religious sayings, Proverbs maybe or Psalms tattooed on his arms.
Well, tattooing is controversial with some people.
That is true.
So probably not tattooing.
Maybe a temporary tattoo.
But now I guess we need to put on our thinking caps, Angelo. How could you, if you wanted to church yourself up rapidly? Roy Moore has he's got many years head start.
Yeah, he's got some experience.
And he's walked the walk and he's paid penalties in his professional life for his stances. So how do you catch up in a brief amount of time?
That's a good challenge.
It is a
Interesting
good
challenge.
Yes,
there.
we're going to have to put on our thinking caps on that. All right, look, we're going to be back after traffic, weather, news, all of that on the Uncle Henry Show.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
All right, so the deep state has essentially now declared total outright war against the president, consistently leaking classified information, all in an effort to sabotage his presidency. And now, according to Breitbart, Trump is experiencing 7 times more national security leaks than Presidents Obama and Bush when they were faced with the same thing in their time in office. The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee reported that the Trump administration faced a conservative estimate of 125 leaks with information potentially damaging to national security, all within 126 days. And I know the mainstream media is having a field day creating fake news about the Trump administration and Russian ties, but can they please do their jobs and report on our nation's intelligence community that is outright sabotaging this president?
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Are you putting your money into an IRA, pension, or 401k? Then I hope you're prepared to lose 30, 40, 50% or more of your retirement savings, because it's not a question of if the market crashes again. It's a question of when. It's going to happen. Did you know there is a way you can protect and grow your wealth safely and predictably every single year? The people using this approach didn't lose a penny when the market crashed in 2000 or 2008, and they won't lose a penny in the next crash. In fact, their money will continue to grow safely year in and year out, even when stocks, real estate, and other investments tumble. A free report detailing this savings program is now available. This free report shows how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your retirement in the Wall Street casino. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement. It far outperforms any IRA or 401k. To get this free report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bank on yourself.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Mazda Traffic Center.
We have quite a bit of rain continuing to move through the area. The heaviest cell we're seeing right now is a large one that's moving up from the Gulf across the Barrier Islands and into Mobile Bay. So mostly it's over water for the time being, but if you are on either side of the bay making the drive this morning, you're going to find some wet weather waiting for you. So just be aware of that. No big accidents or breakdowns, though. Kind of a quiet morning on that front, at least for the moment. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
We are turning up this torrential potential on this Tuesday to about 50%. Grab the umbrella, dress light. High temp today, 90 degrees. When you tack on the humidity, it's going to feel like we're in the upper 90s. Stray showers overnight, and Wednesday brings a 40% chance of storms. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Staples. Staples knows that behind every honor roll student is an honor roll mom who gets everything they need for back to school for less at Staples. Right now, get Staples Standard View 1-inch binders for just $1.92 while supplies last. Ends 9/2/17. Staples. It's pro time.
He was shot 8 times but lived long enough to talk to the cops. Good morning. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with this iHeartRadio News Update. Neighbors say they heard the gunshots but thought they were fireworks. Now, Pritchard police say they are looking for multiple suspects after 39-year-old Obie Hillary was shot 8 times and died Friday night near Wilson Avenue. But investigators say Hillary lived long enough to give them important clues.
We're back here on the Uncle Henry Show.
To keep us safe.
This is not a commercial for Mo Brooks. I just want to hear the part about the Bible.
Even some establishment Republicans are blocking the way. Elect me to the Senate, and I'll fight every spending bill that doesn't fund that wall. And if I have to filibuster on the Senate floor, I'll even read the King James Bible until the wall.
This is how you church yourself up, I guess. If you're trying to compete against Roy Moore, and he specifically picks the King James Version because New International, not good enough. Not good enough. Well, I'm going to have to, Ariel, be prepared. I'm going to have to, as the preacher's daughter, I'm going to have to bring you in on the churching yourself up to run for office issue here in a moment. Before we do anything else, though, Mobile Bay Coins is where Angelo is the proprietor, one of the proprietors, and he did bring some edged weapons. But before we do that, Ariel, I sent you some pictures from Mobile Bay Coins earlier. Could you look for those so we could have them a little bit later? Oh, you have them now? Could you just show any one of those pictures and just have Angelo talk about it for a moment? What are those?
Those are old Morgan silver dollars.
Okay.
So,
now, why is that even picture worthy? They're old, dirty money.
Well, old dirty money from the 1800s. That's a silver coin, a silver dollar. Back in 1878, the United States Mint started striking a lot more silver coins. Prior to that, you could use the Spanish 8 reals or Mexican 8 reals. You could use any silver coin you wanted to, and then the United States Mint or the United States changed the laws and said, nope, you got to use our money. Other people's money is not good anymore, so we started striking more silver coins.
All right, what Ariel is showing us now,
right?
A silver dollar like one of those, what is the value? Because it's so old and in its condition and everything, what are the values like? I know they vary.
They vary, but in poor condition, basically what's called a cull, something's got some damage, some scratches, things like that, they retail for $15, $17, $18, all the way up to, even those are probably in the $25 range. There's some very expensive varieties or higher grade, higher condition coins that could be hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But something like that, you could pick up one of those. If you just wanted to show the kids or grandkids what real silver money felt like, you know, what it's like to have something that has a tangible value, you can pick up one of those for around $25 and show off. We had a lot of folks doing that at the coin show, picking up silver dollars because they wanted to show their kids or grandkids what real money was as opposed to fiat currency, paper money like we use nowadays.
Okay. Those you can get those at Mobile Bay Coins, and that's something that holds value.
It certainly does.
It holds value more than just a brand new piece of silver bullion.
And it does just as well. A lot of times it's holding more than just the silver value because gold and silver prices go up and down. They fluctuate with the market. But the older coins like that, they sort of bottom out at silver value, but they keep a collectible value as well over and above that.
All right, we've got about a minute before we go back on the radio. In the minute, I guess we don't have time to really zero in on an edged weapon. We might want to save that for when people are awake anyway, the edged weapons. But you can help people if they want to learn how to buy these silver dollars. You can help them learn all the ins and outs.
Certainly, yeah. Whether they're looking at silver dollars, silver dimes, or quarters, or halves, a lot of people get frustrated, especially right now. You talk about the government is working on the budget, or they're going to fight a budget that's not funding the wall, things of that nature. We look at the fact that our government is spending more money than we bring in every single day. We're getting ourselves deeper and deeper in debt. And one of the things that changed years ago is we used to have silver coinage. The government had to pay for that. So you couldn't make more coins than you had money to buy silver for. Nowadays, all they do is print extra paper, and it doesn't cost them any more money to print a sheet of $1 bills or a sheet of $20 bills. It's that same piece of paper. You think about that and the fact that it's almost like writing a check. Doesn't matter whether the money is there or not. You could write a $10,000 check. It may bounce, but not if you're a government. You can do anything you want.
We'll have to talk more about that remind me to address that in a future break. But stand by. We're back on the radio. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. Good morning to everyone watching on Facebook on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. I saw B. Graves and Eric Erdman. Isn't that amazing?
Musicians awake at this. They probably haven't been to sleep yet, Uncle Henry.
Well, it's amazing, the stereotype.
Well, those guys work late at night. They have gigs that start at 10 o'clock at night. I couldn't do it. I'm sound asleep by then.
Okay, look, I want to get to. In the last segment of the show, I mentioned that Mo Brooks, who's running for the Senate, I'm sure he's noticed that Roy Moore is in the lead,
right,
according to the opinion polls, and he would like to get into the runoff. And I guess the strategists figure the way to catch Roy Moore is to church yourself up. And so this is an excerpt from the Mo Brooks Build the Wall commercial.
Filibuster on the Senate floor. I'll even read the King James Bible until the wall is funded.
He will read the King James version of the Bible in the Senate until the wall is funded. Now, Ariel is a preacher's daughter. Ariel, please jump in to offer preacher's daughter. Ariel has sat through numerous church services in her life,
yes,
whether she's liked it or not.
Right.
King James version of the Bible. Now, is that a special? Is that code?
Well, you know that there are many different versions of the Bible.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a few myself at home.
Right, and the King James version is, for me, it's almost like reading Shakespeare without Cliff Notes. I don't know about that, sir.
Well, now isn't he implying that his values are that this is really a super conservative? Because I've had a lot of
super
people.
Traditional.
I've had people send me things in the mail claiming that you should not read any other version, that every other version is improperly translated, and has
it probably is
has bad things snuck into it.
It probably is. I own the Message Bible, which is pretty much broken down into everyday English. And some of the translations is like, Jesus never would have said that like that. That sounds more like something I wrote than necessarily Jesus said.
Well, yes, I agree. that
but it helps you to get what you might not have understood reading the King James Version.
So, but this to me though is shorthand. This is a way of saying that my values are very, very traditional.
Exactly.
By saying King James Version.
Very wear your suit and your hat and stockings to church. My grandmother would be proud.
All right, thank you, Ariel.
You're welcome.
Yes, indeed. It's got to be King James. If he said American Standard Version or New International Version, it would not have the same impact. All right, there's more. Will this work? Who knows? There's more to come. The Uncle Henry Show continues. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines.
Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
We have quite a bit of rain continuing to move through the area. The heaviest cell we're seeing right now is a large one that's moving up from the Gulf across the Barrier Islands and into Mobile Bay. So mostly it's over water for the time being, but if you are on either side of the bay making the drive this morning, you're going to find some wet weather waiting for you. So just be aware of that. No big accidents and breakdowns, though. Kind of a quiet morning on that front, at least for the moment. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Gemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Good Tuesday to you, everybody. We've got about a 50-50 shot of scattered showers and storms for this Tuesday. We'll top out at 90 degrees. Grab the umbrella. We are going to have quite a bit of humidity out there. It's going to make that temperature feel warmer. Overnight lows in the mid-70s and a 40% chance of storms as we head into Wednesday through Friday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Mobile's favorite uncle. Mornings on News Radio 710 WNTM. Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Here with Angelo of Mobile Bay Coins, mobilebaycoins.com. Look for them on Facebook. You need to go like their page on Facebook. Now, and Ariel is also here running video, producing the show from that standpoint, and also offering perspective as from a variety of standpoints, including someone who's a preacher's daughter, also someone who takes pole fitness, and is also a radio personality on a station that young people listen to. Here's a story that I'm delighted by this story. And Angelo, you're not a big football fan, so this won't be a big impact to you, but I love watching football. I love watching college football, and I love watching NFL also.
Right.
And I've been very uncomfortable over the past numerous years because of all the commercials for Viagra and Cialis on the NFL broadcast.
I can understand that.
Well, it's uncomfortable. You see a bunch of men sitting around playing guitars or sitting in a bathtub with I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I agree.
And uncomfortable. Well, it's being reported this morning that the NFL has lost Viagra and Cialis as their advertising partners.
Good.
Advertising Age is reporting that Pfizer, the makers of both of those drugs, will not be buying advertising on NFL games this season.
Was one of those ads the one with the guy with the ridiculous smile?
Well, aren't they all?
I don't know.
With a ridiculous smile?
I don't watch a lot of football, but I've been at friends' houses when they were watching a
Right.
game, and I saw some of those commercials. It's like, this is ridiculous.
Now, the Advertising Age is saying that both of these things are going to be generic soon.
Right.
So the company doesn't want to promote the brand names. It's not going to be worth their money to promote something that'll be available as a generic anymore.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
But the NFL, the NFL was making $50 million.
What?
$50 million. Hey.
No wonder drug costs are so high. For goodness sakes. They're paying them $50 million to advertise that stuff?
Or were.
Were.
They were. Not anymore.
And that's just to the NFL.
Right.
That's probably not the only place those commercials ran.
Oh, well, all kind of, I'm sure there were print ads in the AARP magazines and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's good news for somebody like me that doesn't, I always felt scandalized watching it. There are a lot of ads in football that are irritating, like the beer ads where you see people that are about 25 years old in perfect physical condition. They all look like they could be in the Olympics, running around, exercising, and then having a beer.
Yeah, those are the ones that are drinking beer? No.
Right.
Trust me.
Those don't scandalize. Those are silly, but they don't scandalize as much as seeing some couple in their 50s sitting in bathtubs, or a bunch of men sitting around playing guitar vigorously. So good news for those of us that don't want to see Viagra and Cialis ads. Those are going away on the NFL. The NFL needs a lot of things to shape up for the upcoming season. All right, look, we'll be back in a moment with more Uncle Henry Show. Stick with us.
news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now.
And we're back here on Facebook, here with Angelo of MobileBayCoins.com. Before we go into an edged weapon, you were talking to me about printing money and how it's like writing a check. I was watching on YouTube a Johnny Carson. I don't like watching TV of today. I'd rather watch TV from like 1973. So I was watching a Johnny Carson Tonight Show.
Okay.
And he was doing his monologue, and one of his monologue jokes was about new dollar coins.
Uh-huh.
That the United States was coming out with new dollar coins, and he was, I don't remember the joke, but hearing him talk about it made me think of you, because he was claiming that dollar coins made more sense. They cost less in the long run than a paper dollar, because paper dollars wear out.
Right.
And he told the audience, the TV and studio audience, that coins last forever.
Well, that's almost the case. And by the way, this was not a 1973 show you were watching. It was probably 1978 or 1979.
Okay, it was in the 70s somewhere
But
around there.
in the late 70s, and the reason I'm saying that is the Susan B. Anthony dollar came out in 1979.
Okay, so it was somewhere right before that came out.
Precisely. So it had to be somewhere in that time frame. And he is absolutely correct. A coin is going to last, I think they said 30 times longer than paper money does.
So if we were to switch from paper money to coins for all of these denominations, it would save,
It would save a lot of money. The problem is the folks that make the paper that is used for U.S. currency have lobbyists, and those lobbyists don't want anybody to switch. So we still keep printing paper dollars, $1 bills and $5 bills, and we are making $1 coins that nobody likes because it's a little heavier than carrying the paper around. So people continue to use the paper. Most of the other countries out there have stopped printing the paper $1 or €1 notes, and they have switched to coins. Matter of fact, a lot of them now are doing $1 and $2 and even $5 or €5 coins rather than paper, because it makes more sense to do that. Some countries have even gone to a plastic paper bill. Not paper, but
because
plastic,
it doesn't wear
polymer.
out as easily.
Correct.
All right, we've got about 2.5 minutes. Let's get to an edged weapon.
Okay.
And I will bring up...
I'm going to give you an unusual, interesting little gadget.
All right, I saw this at Mobile Bay Coins.
I know you like gadgets.
I almost bought this at Mobile Bay Coins. I like it so much because this is a cutting tool that can fit in your wallet, and it does how many different things?
Lots.
Well, I mean, it's got a ruler on it.
Yeah, they have like 10 or 11 things you can do.
You can open your bottle with it. You can use it as a ruler because it's marked as a ruler.
You can use it as a like you said, a bottle opener, actually a can opener, a ruler. It's got a saw blade on the one side. It's got a knife edge on the other side, and the odd shaped notches there in the center. You could actually undo a small bolt. So if you had something that was stuck and you were trying to unscrew it, you could probably break a bolt loose with that. So lots of different options there on what you can do.
This is really, I love this. This is available at Mobile Bay Coins. Now this thing that fits in the wallet, you still would have to check it in your luggage if you were going on a plane.
Oh yeah. If you were flying somewhere, you'd have to be very careful.
But if I were going to ride on a, is this the case for it?
That's the case, and a little instruction card that goes with it, just in case you forget.
Well, it says here it's got 11 functions. Can opener, knife edge, flathead screwdriver, ruler, bottle opener, 4-position wrench, butterfly screw wrench, saw blade, direction and auxiliary indication, 2-position wrench, lanyard, keychain, hole. This is magnificent.
Isn't that cool? For a little gadget, little bitty, and Uncle Henry, it's $6.
This is at Mobile Bay Coins for $6. Now I couldn't take it on a plane with me. I'd have to check it in my luggage.
Right.
But if I were going to travel to, let's say I wanted to go to Washington D.C. to watch Mo Brooks read the King James Version of the Bible, I could put this in my wallet and take a Greyhound bus?
You could.
I could take this with me in my wallet or in my coat pocket on the Greyhound bus.
There you go.
And I would be able to defend myself. Well, it's not a self-defense tool.
Not really a defensive tool, but
I could help fix the bus if it broke down.
Yeah, the bus breaks down. All of a sudden, you're lost in the jungle because the guy made a wrong turn because he didn't have the little direction thingy on there. You could do all sorts of cool
in
things.
the Virginia jungle.
There you go.
Okay, all right. Stand by. We go back to radio. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. I'll be at Mobile Bay Coins this morning from 9 until 10 with a live episode of Ask the Expert. Angela is here right now from Mobile Bay Coins. Today's Amazon Prime Day. This is not a commercial for Amazon, just an acknowledgement of how they've taken over commerce in the United States of America and a lot of the world. Is this something that excites you at all?
Amazon, I've
Prime
never even
Day?
heard of Amazon Prime Day, so you got to
Okay.
help me out here, Uncle Henry.
Well, it's alleged deals. It's almost like the day after Thanksgiving.
So it's like Black Friday for Amazon?
I guess so. But I'm wary of it because they're claiming that you get incredible discounts on this day, and I never am sure if it's really a discount.
I understand that. That's what I agree with you on that one.
Or if it was where they had jacked the prices up a month or two ahead of time just to make it look like a discount.
Double it and then cut it in half again?
I don't know. I'm not accusing them of anything. I just don't know that I buy in.
The only exciting thing I knew of today was one of your listeners had built himself a boat, and I think he was going to try to launch it out there. And given the fact that he designed and built it himself, I was wondering, I thought maybe we should start a pool to see how well it or how long the darn thing floats.
A listener to this station built a boat?
He's listening and watching right now.
What's his name?
B. Graves.
B. Graves built his own boat?
He built his own boat. He's been fussing on Facebook about the weather. It's been raining a little bit, you may have noticed. So he wasn't able to paint his boat. And I know I was laughing about it because the weather has just been ridiculous with it raining almost every day, it seems like. And he said yesterday his boat's ready and he's going to try sea trials today.
How about that? I didn't realize that. So B. Graves is a boat builder. He's a local musician. He came in. One of the great highlights of the TV show when we were allowed on the CW55 was when he came in with two of his bands and performed with both of them.
I saw that.
It was a tremendous, wonderful thing. So if he can build boats, does he build guitars?
I have no idea. Boat building is one of those things that I want to leave that to the experts. If I'm going to be out there on the water, I want somebody that knows boat building to build it. I don't want to trust my own skill set on something like that. Now, if I'm a castaway on a desert island, that's a whole different issue. But just for fun, no.
You're an expert on living in the woods.
True.
Because you used to do that. Didn't we just used to hollow out a log?
Back in the day, as a matter of fact, one way they used to do it is they would chop a little notch in the log and then start a fire in that log and sort of burn out the center of the log and then scrape it clean with a stone axe. But that was a long time ago.
Then how hard can it be? How hard can it be then? You're worried about getting into B. Graves' boat when...
Not necessarily B. Graves' boat. I'm not saying that.
We used to just get in a log.
That was a little before my time, Uncle Henry.
Okay.
So, yeah, floating down the river on a log, I think, is a little different than sailing around the world in a boat.
All right, speaking of the waterways that B. Graves is attempting to launch himself into today, I saw the news that a fourth case of Vibrio vulnificus was confirmed by Mobile County Health Department. So that's the media loves reporting this because they get to use the phrase flesh-eating bacteria. Now, I think we've had, if I remember correctly, we've had Vibrio vulnificus problems my entire life living here, but it's just been in the last few years that flesh-eating bacteria has been the way we've described it.
Isn't that ironic that they come up with a new catchphrase and then everybody wants to throw that out there? It's
Ar-
almost like they're excited.
Ariel taught us yesterday. Ariel went to journalism studies when she was in college and was taught by an Emmy award-winning person out of Detroit who taught her, if it bleeds, it leads. If it bleeds, it leads. And so flesh-eating bacteria, I heard it reported on national news because they like using that phrase.
Isn't it amazing?
Well, it's just I think most of us here kind of know not to get into like when you nailed your finger,
right?
You knew not to go get in the bay.
Well, exactly. I'm not going to go jump in the water at that point. Right after I first moved down here, I was out playing in the bay with some friends on a 4th of July weekend and cut my foot in the bay, didn't think anything of it, got extremely sick, got a major infection, had to go to the hospital, emergency room, nothing major, and they cleaned it out, and the guy just gently reminded me, he said, things don't freeze down here. So whatever was living in that bay 1,000 years ago could very well be alive today if it's a bacteria or virus or something of that sort. So he said, you just have to be really careful.
That's why we need to, that's why a lot of people here really need to clean their bathtubs, because even your bathtub in this area could be, you've got to be very careful.
I hope they clean their bathtubs often enough for that not to be a problem.
So anyway, that's also in the news. The Vibrio vulnificus, the 4th confirmed case by the Mobile County Health Department.
You just like saying Vibrio vulnificus, don't you?
Well, what I like is watching how it really got my attention when I heard national news talking about flesh-eating bacteria. It reminded me of how in Louisiana they had a brain-eating amoeba. Do you remember that?
I do.
Now, it makes me wonder, is their brain-eating amoeba something that you shouldn't be as alarmed? Is it the same as our thing, where the people there live with it and call it something else other than a brain-eating amoeba?
Now, what happens if those two mix up and something happens and they mutate and form a new...
I don't know. I don't want to make light, by the way.
Brain and flesh-eating?
I don't want to make light of any of this because people can perish from these conditions. But it makes me curious now as to how...
But why dramatize it? By calling it a brain-eating amoeba.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Right, but again, that's what irks me about some of the news media out there. Not you, of course, Uncle Henry, but these folks out here are creating stories. They're not reporting the news.
Well, yeah. If it bleeds, it leads. Look, I'm sure we have news coming up, so I'm sure there'll be some bleeding, unfortunately, in the news. A reminder, I will be at Mobile Bay Coins today from 9 until 10, live on location. And would love to see you there if you can be civil.
At Mercedes-Benz of Mobile, servicing the customer always comes first. If your Mercedes is in need of repair or general maintenance, come see us at our state-of-the-art service center on Dolphin Street. Our highly certified auto technicians are equipped with the latest tools and technologies to take care of your Mercedes or any other luxury vehicle, including Lexus, BMW, Audi, and Jaguar. Give your car a little TLC and visit our service center at 3060 Dolphin Street today. Mercedes-Benz of Mobile, doing our part to keep you moving forward.
We here at iHeartRadio wanted to say thank you. Why? Because you've made us the #1 rated music app in America. iHeartRadio is the only app with live radio, artist stations, and unlimited access to the hottest tracks for you to save right to your phone. We took everything you love about live radio, then added all the features a music fan needs. So if you haven't downloaded the app yet, come see what you're missing. Download the free iHeartRadio app or listen at iHeartRadio.com.
Hey, you've wanted to do it for a while, but now are you finally ready to get a home theater system for your man cave or your family room? I'm Uncle Henry. Let me suggest a locally owned and operated company. It's TSI Alarms and Audio. TSI has years of experience in quality home theater design. They can professionally install your current audio and video equipment, or they can help you select television, audio, surround sound components that will fit your needs. And the size of the job doesn't matter. TSI will design your home theater around your budget, helping you get the most for your money. And it doesn't have to be just one room. TSI Audio can provide you with a complete system that will allow you to control the sound in multiple rooms throughout your home with just the push of a button. And you've heard of smart home technology? Ask TSI how they can help you with home automation. Call TSI at 251-662-0500 or visit them online at thetsigroup.com.
Your home for Uncle Henry every morning at 5. News Radio 710 WNTM Mobile, an iHeart radio station. 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile. 710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Well, we are still seeing several spots